within. So I thought about calling it the Kaiko series very seriously. Then I took a lot of deep breaths and said, but what's the essence? What are we really trying to do here? And then it struck me. Ready to write on the next page? It struck me. And what this is about with Kaiko and with love of self and with allowing and releasing and everything else we're doing with coming into the light body. This is about a very important word. Charisma. Charisma. And I like to call this the Kharisma series. Yeah. And charisma comes from, but we're going to spell it with a K. You can go ahead and write it like that first, Linda, and then underneath, write it with a K instead of a C. Charisma comes from the Greek word charis. Charis meaning to give in grace. Give in grace. Graceful giving. When you really come to it, there's kind of in the English definition of charisma, oftentimes you think of a charismatic person. And part of that is true. There is something called charisma. They don't know where it is. They can't seem to extract it. They can't turn it into a chemical formula. I'm sure after this afternoon somebody's going to come up with charisma pills designed just for Shambra. Yeah. Actually, I think I will. But charisma, what is it? Well, you say it's a person who has a certain radiance, I guess, a certain personality. Political figures who have charisma, using the standard definition, can attract people. You've all met charismatic people. You're in their presence, and there's just something, charismatic about them. But here it's going to be a little bit different. It's not just about a shiny, happy personality. The charisma, is the grace from within. The charisma is that natural, really authentic you, sans the personality that's not you coming forth. It's the real you. It's the I am in expression. Now, there's going to be a tendency to run out of here and say, I'm going to go develop my charisma. I'm going to go get in touch. I'm going to act. That's what we should do. Charisma activation sessions. I'm going to activate my charisma. Where's that water to throw, the bucket to throw? No. Charisma. It's there. It's already within you. It's already inside, just ready to come out. It's the authentic you, the one you keep asking yourself about. You keep saying, well, am I being authentic? Well, no, actually you weren't. So back away so that your authenticity can come out, so that the real you can come out. You, Brother John, I'll pick on you since you gave me that big smile. Such an interesting personality development. But I look at you. I look at who you think you are, and I have to laugh a little, smile. It's not you, and you know that, and you struggle with it, just like all of you do, but I'm picking on Brother John here. And you say, but I have to keep working on myself, developing myself, making myself better, and then going out and searching for myself. Well, make me throw up. Not anymore. You don't need to do any of those. You don't need to do anything, John, and ex-John, former John. You don't need to do anything other than let that charisma come out. It's already there. You don't need to activate it. You don't have to water it. You don't have to do anything to it. And that's going to be the challenge. You're going to want to do something. You're going to say, your personality is going to say, well, shit, I got to do something with my charisma. I need to develop it. I have to breathe into it. No, nothing other than letting it come through. So allowing was correct. It's the allowing series as well, but it's one of the things you do. Charisma is that, what you would call that light within you. But I don't even want to call it a light. Charisma is the I am in expression. And once you dust away, clear away all those other things, ancestral biology and personality that's not yours, I cannot stress this enough. Your identification, your personality, is not really you. It's really been cobbled together with a lot of bricks that have come from foreign lands and cobbled together in some haphazard, interesting way. I guess you could say kind of creative, artistic way, but you're tired of it now, and I know that, and you know that. We all know that. Well, most of us know that. Charisma is the natural self coming forth. The interesting thing about a charisma, it's already there if you just let it come out. You're not going to be able to identify its attributes, its all the different things. Did I not psychically send out a message for some coffee with cream?
Yes.
Yes. But in the meantime, I need you to write. No, get them. No. Dear Linda, you could assign it to someone. So, charisma. The important thing about charisma, and I'm a bit reluctant to even mention this because it's going to set up some expectations. And then we're going to forget about charisma, and then I'm going to have to do a charisma butt-kicking session next time. Charisma is the... yeah. Charisma is the true attractant. The true attractant. There are books that have been written about law of attraction. Interesting, going in the right direction, but they tend to be very mental. Everybody starts thinking about what they want. It doesn't work. It's not very effective. And then they get all depressed, and then they feel bad about themselves, and then they identify with themselves. I'm not very effective at attracting things, but nobody likes me, and that's why, and I can't attract anything. No, you're just not really being very genuine about it. You're being very mental about it. Mental has little or no Kaiko, fire, passion. It's not authentic. Every time you think a thought, most of it really isn't yours, 95% of it. When you think about something, it's not even yours, but yet you pretend it is. You act like it is. You act out like it is. It's not. So we're going to strip all that, get down to what is yours. Your charisma doesn't mean you need to go out and be an extrovert. Doesn't mean you need to go walk down the street shaking everybody's hand, telling jokes in the grocery store. No, you look like an idiot if you do that. Charisma is a natural attractant. It attracts energy naturally. It attracts people. Actually, it's interesting because Sam is not much of a talker. Doesn't say a lot of words, but doesn't need to. The words he says are clear, and he speaks them from himself, so he doesn't mumble them down here. When Sam speaks, there are few words, but they're clear, and everybody listens. They're not just listening to the sound waves coming from his mouth. They're feeling his charisma, and he has a lot of it. Now, people will say, well, he's charismatic, or he's attractive because he's physically attractive, or because he's there's just something about him. He has a nice smile or nice eyes. But they're just trying to justify because they don't know how to identify. They don't know how to talk about this charisma, so they have to think of other things. He's charismatic because he's letting himself come out. And not all these other thoughts, and he's not polluted himself with a bunch of things that aren't his. In his biological puberty, he also went through the spiritual puberty of himself. He's got tons of charisma. Charisma, if you get down to the real definition, it is the gift of grace that one gives to themselves first. And it's naturally given to others. Charisma is the authentic. It's the I am. It doesn't need personality. It doesn't need to identify itself. It doesn't need any. Charisma does not need plans and programs and goals. It doesn't. The human needs goals just to occupy themselves and to make themselves feel better about achieving a goal. The charisma doesn't need that. The charisma is you. And I know these are words right now that I'm speaking. They're just words, but I'm going to ask you now to feel into it.